Welcome to Binging with Badness, the only podcast that's going to be with you all 8 crazy nights. My name is Mitchell McIntyre.
And I'm Vanessa Vogel.
And this is Love, Lights, and Hanukah, which is the very first, I think ever, Hallmark Hanukah film. Hanukah just recently started. I believe we're on the second or third day by the time we record this.
I see.
So immediately my brain has been refreshed because it's a different thing. Same basic plot, but something is different.
Yeah, it's Hanukah.
It's Hanukah. Now, neither of us are Jewish, so we can't speak to the accuracy of how they do Hanukah.
That's true. All we know is 8 Crazy Nights is a bad movie.
Yes, it is. There's a movie. It stars Adam Sandler, and I'm very sorry to the Jewish people. I always thought there should be more. Like, there are no Hanukah films. There's no Hanukah music. They take place roughly the same time.
Yeah.
And they kind of get steamrolled.
What if there is Hanukah music, but we're just not privy to it? Like,
well,
you know how if you are raised in, like, a predominantly black household, you guys there's, like, different movie stars that you just know things based on culture, right?
Right, there's famous and then there's black famous.
Right,
yeah.
And then there's, like, Chinese famous, right?
Sure. So I wonder, like, because in the movie, they do sing in Hebrew.
Yeah.
And one of the songs, like, the backing track, is a song in Hebrew, which I think is the prayer, but just sung melodically. So maybe that's a big thing.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, it doesn't get into, the zeitgeist.
That's true. We know it's a holiday celebrating 8 nights of miracle oil.
That's true. But we know, so this movie specifically, I'll get you the plot. As Christina prepares her restaurant for the busiest time of year, she gets a DNA test revealing that she is, in fact, 50% Jewish. The discovery leads to a new family and an unlikely romance over 8 nights. We see maybe 3 of those nights.
Apparently.
We see the 1st, the 4th, and the 8th.
Well, I imagine it just sort of repeats, right? Like, you're just
I
lighting
know,
candles.
but if you're gonna do Hanukah, do all 8 nights.
That's true.
If you're gonna go hard. I'm just saying. This movie stars Mia Kirshner, who's famous for doing Star Trek Discovery, Defiance, a whole lot of TV, and of course, 24, the video game.
The video game?
The video game.
Was it a bad video game?
It wasn't great.
Was it like Lost, where you got 1,000 Achievo points for opening the game?
No. So while Lost is a shit show in every way, shape, and form because it's a lazy cash grab, this one tried.
Oh.
It's got a whole new plot. Like, it takes place between day 2 and day 3. And it tried to go all out, but it just plays like shit.
Oh.
Came out for the PS2.
We were already on the PS5.
Yeah, came out the PS2. Also came out last year, which is a problem. But yeah, so that is her. It also stars Ben Savage. You probably don't know the name, but you know the man because he was Corey from Boy Meets World.
My boy!
Also Girl Meets World, which is a good show. You should have watched it when it was on TV.
Yeah, and saved it, damn it. He shouldn't still be on TV with Girl Meets World.
I didn't write down any other thing he did because you should know that.
It's goddamn Corey Matthews.
He's also the brother of Fred Savage, who was the lead in Wonder Years, which starred Danica McKellar, which is how I connected these last 2 movies. What up? So there's that. It also, we're going to throw out, it also stars, usually I only do the first 2, but this is kind of an important one. It stars Mary Lou Henner, who is Elaine from the show Taxi. She was also in the movies Hammett, The Man Who Loved Women, Cannonball Run 2, Johnny Dangerously, Rustler's Rhapsody, Lady Killers, LA Story, and Noises Off. And it wasn't until you told me did I realize she was on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, it's Vivian.
She is Vivian, great actress, but
Very funny.
yeah, very funny. We have two solid comedic actors in this movie that we do nothing with.
Yeah, it's a waste of talent. Like, get him to say underpants. It'll be hilarious.
It'll be funny. It'll be funny for everybody.
And we can get Vivian to say the most ridiculous shit with a straight face.
Mm-hmm. So, it is directed by a man named Mark Jean, who did Ships in the Night, a Martha Vineyards mystery, The Gourmet Detective.
Oh, I'd watch that.
A Beautiful Place to Die, a Martha Vineyards mystery, Aurora Tea Garden Mysteries, The Last Bridesmaid, Flip That Romance, A Veteran's Christmas, Deadly Deed, a fixer-upper mystery, Concrete Evidence, a fixer-upper mystery, Framed for Murder, a fixer-upper mystery.
I love all of these. I was expecting when you said fix it or flip, like, fix it or flip it. Love addiction. Do you fix your relationship or you flip it for a profit?
I would watch that. That sounds fun. And it was written by Karen Burgers. Or Bergers, perhaps. Probably Bergers. She wrote Holiday Date. Not Holiday, Holiday space date. Wolf. Just Add Romance. All of My Heart, The Wedding. All of My Heart, In Love, INN. The Art of Us. Love You Like Christmas. And All of My Heart. So that is the firepower behind this movie. It's a lot of Hallmark regulars, especially in the director and the writer. In fact, the writer has only ever done Hallmark movies.
So he knows what he's doing.
Karen.
Oh, she knows what she's doing. Apologies.
But how do you get into this line of work? I would like to interview Karen Burgess. I want to see.
You want to start directing Hallmark movies? Like,
well, yeah.
I wonder if you can just Google it and there's just like an application, like a job application.
That would be nice. Like, I have a feeling that this is like, you know, when you have a voice actor who does like anime and he does like a lot of it.
Yeah.
And there's like 8 voice actors who do all the roles.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's how it's like in the Hallmark verse.
Well, they only need so many directors, right? So
yeah, that's what I mean. So you got like your pool of 8, and then they do 4 a year, and then here you go.
Once a season, yeah.
Exactly. I want to get in that pool.
We'll do some Googling. Hey, if anyone knows how to get into that, let us know.
Hook us up. Okay.
Apparently, you don't need to be a great actor, and I'm not.
So here we are.
I'm a great gay best friend.
And the acting is not great in this one.
Which is weird, because Corey is a pretty good actor, and so is Vivian.
Yeah. I should say the acting is fine. The writing is bad.
That's fair.
And it's not even bad. It's very functional writing. There's no flair. There's no, like, connection to anything. It's all very nakedly expositive. Which we will get into as the plot thickens.
Did you notice that the house that our main character lives in is the house from Never Kiss a Man in the Christmas Sweater?
It did look familiar, but I think, now that you say that, I think you're right.
Yeah, because it had a very distinctive staircase, and that's it. That's
the one. We found it.
When she opened the door and it was in front of that weird staircase, I'm like, yep, this is that house.
I've been here before. They just use the same
they have like
sets.
5 houses, and they just cycle through them from different angles so that it looks different, you know?
Yeah. Okay. So we curtain up. We open with the Jewish version of the spinning top ending from Inception. And we don't see if it wobbles or not, if it falls over. So I imagine this whole movie is a dream. I should say the Jewish top it's called a dreidel. I know that.
It only has 4 outcomes. Don't worry, Hanukah will be over in a minute.
That's true. Our main character, her name is Christina, is walking through a store full of decorations. And apparently this is the first time she's ever seen a store decorated, because she walks in with like a wide-eyed, like, oh, Wow.
To her defense, I look like that every time I go into a food shop that's pulled out all the Christmas food. Like, at World Market today, like, I was like, wow. And I was just there, like, what, like 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, not even that. But it's just, she was very like Dorothy in
Oz.
just like, oh my. She goes and she buys some Christmas decorations. She buys 3 wreaths.
No, 4, because she asked for an extra one after.
4 wreaths because she's a fucking hog.
What are you doing with that many wreaths? Like, what is the purpose of having that many wreaths?
Well, we'll find out. She owns a restaurant that her mother used to own. And she's decking it out for Christmas. Her mother used to own this restaurant. She has died sometime this year because this is her first Christmas without her. And to decorate it up so much kind of connects the two. That'll do me fine. She talks to her best friend a lot. Her best friend looks familiar because she is the one actress who doubted her acting in A Timeless Christmas. So
while her co-lead from Timeless Christmas was off being the guy you reject in that other movie,
yeah,
with a coffee shop just labeled coffee,
yep,
she was off doing this.
Good to have plans. So there is a point where she's talking to her friend, and her friend is like, "You look just like your mom," which is impressive because she is adopted. It's a nice little moment, but you're just like,
She's like, "Thanks, I'm adopted."
Yeah, thanks, figured it out. In order to find more family, because right now she doesn't have a father. Her mother has died. She has no brothers or sisters. She really has no family. So she took what is the equivalent of like an Ancestry or a 23andMe to see if she has family elsewhere. So later that day, a pipe bursts in the restaurant, and they have to be closed down for a while.
That tracks.
Yeah, that sounds about right. She hates this because she is, for the first time, cooking something called the Feast of 7 Fishes.
Sure.
Which is something that I guess her mom did every year, and now she's doing it alone for the first time. We never see this play out. We see them, like, eat at the very end of the movie. Did it go well? What's the Feast of 7 Fishes?
Well, based on what I've learned about the Jewish people in this movie, they tell you if it was bad.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm going to say she makes 7 different fish dishes, and they're fucking elaborate.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Her whole character at this point is talking about how lonely she is.
Well,
everywhere. Remember how I said the dialogue is just nakedly expositive?
Yeah.
That's every line is just like, I took a DNA test to figure out if I have any family around. It's been awful lonely since my mom died. I have nobody else around. And she does that like 4 times.
That's true. She does. Also, when it's just, like, what are you going to talk about in the first 30 minutes of the film? Other than, also, she's the kindest, nicest restaurateur I've ever met. Like, you are what appears to be about a week and a half from your big Christmas showstopper. And a pipe burst, and you're just like, nuts, chestnuts. And my parents used to run a restaurant. I have worked at restaurant. You should be swearing up a storm.
Oh, yeah.
Throwing things, yelling at people.
Your chefs should be constantly smoking and have way more tattoos.
Yeah. Like, she was just kind while she was making the actual feast later on in the movie. Just like, here, now, put this on the thing. Okay, ready for the next one. No. You're sweating? You're swearing?
Nobody in this movie has ever worked in a real restaurant.
No.
So she also talks about how she broke off a 4-year engagement over the phone. That's never expounded on. So I can't tell if she broke up with him over the phone or if he broke up with her.
I'm going to assume he broke up with her.
But she said you broke up a 4-year relationship over the phone.
Does she?
Yeah. And then it's never expounded on. So I think it's probably, like, you're probably right, But the way it's explained, she did it.
Oh.
So,
I
just
know
saying.
that his name was Roger because when they were getting gifts, and I was just like, wow, this is the first time I've ever seen Hanukah shopping. This is neat.
Yeah. That's Roger would go on to date Maureen in New York City, in the poor part of the apartment building that they are squatting in that their friend makes them pay rent in. That's a Rent joke, everybody. The musical Rent.
And now we shoot without a script.
Yikes. So she gets the email, and she took a DNA test. Turns out she's 100% that bitch, also 50% Jewish.
Yeah, that is the cleanest DNA test I've ever seen.
Yeah, 50% Jewish, 50% Italian.
Like, there should be... Like, it should be, like, thirds, and there should be, like, random junk in there.
I took one of these.
Yeah.
I took one of these last year. It was a Christmas present. And I have, like, 50% English, Irish, and Scottish. And then it's, like, 2% this, 2% Spanish, 2% native, 3% this, 5% this.
That's how we found out your grandpa lied about his nativeness.
I'm just saying.
The math does not work out.
The math don't work out.
But you're also part Portuguese, which nobody knows.
Yeah, right? That's a surprise.
That's why I think Grandpa lied.
I ain't gonna say nothing. So, for some reason, she gets kind of upset about this. Because she's like, Jewish? Well, but my whole thing is Christmas. I can't, now I have to learn a whole other, holiday, and it's just, now what would I do? Well, this is the biggest first world problem I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's true. Like, you don't have to learn a whole new holiday if you don't want to. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say, you don't gotta.
You're ethnically Jewish, but you're not, like,
religiously
culturally or religiously Jewish. You can just put it as a fun fact on a thing.
P.S. also Jewish. The sequel to P.S. I Love You. P.S. I'm Jewish. She gets a ping from somebody in her new immediate family right away. Just like the second she's like, oh wow, I'm partly Jewish. Bing! Hey, we think you might be closely related to us. It doesn't say how close. They have to figure that out for themselves. That's not how this works. It does tell you. It does tell you word for word.
Yours said, like, they are second cousins.
Yeah, second cousins, third cousins. Sometimes it's like eighth.
Yeah, like, it even gives you a little chart, like, saying, doesn't it say, like, through which parent it's, like, from?
Yes, it says which one it might possibly be from.
Yeah.
It doesn't know all the information, but it does what it can.
Maybe she got a really cheap test.
So she goes and hangs out with her new, we don't know yet. Yeah. But she goes out and hangs out with a new family member. Her name is Becky. Becky has a brother. They also own a restaurant. Yeah. That's convenient. We don't have to change sets.
It's a sports restaurant.
It's a sports. There's a lot of sports in this movie.
Yeah.
Not like anything concrete, just a lot of references.
He's doing a thing called 8 Crazy Latkes, and I was all about it.
Yeah, it's, we've had latkes before. They are delicious.
Yeah, it's deep fried potato.
Yeah, how do you fuck that up, eh?
Well, he put guacamole on it, so maybe that way.
Yeah, that's true. Corey shows up for the first time. His name is David. If I call him Corey, you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
David shows up, and Christina's just like, oh, is he like your brother? Goes, no, he's just like a family friend. Making things easy for us later.
It would have been more interesting, I think, if that was like her other brother. Yeah. And this was just her melding together with this family.
I think that's the strongest part of this movie.
Yeah.
So, David is a food critic, and a pretty well-known one, to the point where he actually ate at Christine's restaurant and gave it a mediocre review. Not a bad review, but a mediocre review.
Well, mediocre can be pretty spiteful if you work really hard, right? At least if it's bad, you can work on it. If it's mediocre, they're just like, it's passable.
Well, so one of the things they brought up is that he called her food predictable. What the fuck does that mean?
Predictable food means food that is...
tastes like it should.
Yeah, it tastes like it should, but it's not anything worth talking about. Like, if you have predictable, like, lasagna, like they do in this one, It tastes like noodles. It tastes like cheese. It tastes like meat. It doesn't come together as one magical... You don't get that... You know how in Ratatouille, you get blasted back to the past, and suddenly you're 10-year-old, and your knee hurts, and you're drinking soup? You know?
That makes complete and utter sense to me now.
But this lasagna, like, it's lasagna. It's edible.
Yeah, so... That's the thing, right? And I just thought that's such a strange thing. Like, this food was predictable. Good. Food shouldn't, like, juke you to the left and then punch you in the nose. It's just a weird thing. And food critic words are different.
It's true.
There is, Christina gets invited to Becky's house for brunch the next day. And her and David, like, have a stare-off as they pass each other in their cars. And she's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I'm staying here for the month. Nice to meet you. She's like, this is awkward. And he's like, fucking why? And he's like, 'cause I made cannolis. And he's like, okay, I'm not a critic all the time. And he said, if the cannolis are predictable, I'll keep it to myself. So at brunch, things are pretty lively and nice. We're introduced to Becky's mom. Her name is Ruth. The family all gets together. They're all... this movie survives on the charisma and the chemistry between the cast.
Yeah.
Because it's just kind of a sweet little family, you know? So that's kind of nice.
Ruth has a crazy dreidel collection. I wonder if that's the equivalent of saying Grandma has a crazy ornament collection.
I think so. Because some of the dreidels we see look dope.
They're freaking elaborate.
So they sit down, Christina, Becky, Ruth, and Boy Meets World. We all sit down and just like, well, now that we're all here, let's try to figure out how you're connected to us. And she's like, I don't know. Like, I never met... I didn't have a father figure. Like, my mom never told me. I grew up around here.
Yeah, apparently her mom never married, so...
Yeah. So Ruth is like, you grew up around here. What hospital you were born in? And she's like, this one. What's your birthday? This. Where's your mom from? Getting kind of weird, but she's from here. And Ruth stands up and she, like... her hearing goes.
She has to excuse herself real quickly.
She freaks the fuck out. She's like, I have to get up. And she gets up and leaves.
Ruth has a panic attack.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is. Ruth stands in the other room for like 15 seconds and then comes back. And they're like, hey, Mom, what's wrong? And she's like, nothing. It's like, there's very clearly something wrong because this isn't the time to tell anybody. Well, now we have to know.
Spill it, old lady.
So Ruth is like, okay, so when I was very young, I was a foreign exchange student in Italy. I met a guy, we got married very early, and then we had it annulled because we both realized, hey, stupid idea. I came back to America, and I found out I was pregnant. Christina is her biological daughter. Alright.
That's a good twist.
That's a good twist. I saw that kind of coming. Like, when she freaked out, you're just like, you're her mom.
Yep.
But, like, okay. I see this is a decent plot. The story stops dead. Because Christine's just like, I cannot be here right now. And Ruth is like, yep, I get that.
Okay, bye.
Gonna go. And she leaves. And she just, like, sits in her car like, ah.
Well, she wasn't ready to know that.
No, fuck no. That's a lot to dump on you right away.
Well, Ruth warned her.
So David Meets World goes outside. And he walks up to the car and he's like, hey, are you okay to drive? You just hit some shit. And she's like, I'll be fine. I really have to go. I can't be here right now. And she drives away, and then David kind of walks back up, and Ruth is standing at the porch.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, how is she? It's like, she'll be okay, but this is heavy. And Ruth goes, I have no idea who she is, but I already love her.
Well, she did make a great first impression.
She did. So, we sit down at the table, and it's time for Mom to explain some shit.
Yeah.
Because the kids never knew about this first marriage. It was annulled, so it wasn't on any records.
Not to mention it was in Italy.
It was in Italy, which is way over there. She had a second husband, who she grew and loved and all that for several years, who has passed away by now. Apparently, he knew about it. He knew about the daughter, or the kid. I guess you know it was a daughter. Knew about the daughter, but never said anything because she said it was up to Ruth to tell the kids. Which she just never did.
I mean, it was up to Ruth, right? That's not his call to make,
True.
But, by all accounts, her and second husband, Lenny, were very happy together,
Yeah. I just think it's weird that the kids got older and that, they're in their 30s by now. Just never came up, hey, BT dubs. Especially when to be on this service, they had to buy a DNA test too.
Yeah.
So you would think that would come up hey, there's a small chance you might find a sister. So,
you think it would have crossed Ruth's mind, be like, oh, I did this DNA test, right? And I found another relative. And she would go, uh-oh.
Ah, cool.
There's something I should tell you.
Yeah, but it never comes up.
But apparently, is this the part where she, explains the circumstances of the birth? Because apparently she was, 18 when this happened.
She was very young, and, nobody begrudges her for giving the kid up for adoption. You're 18, you can't deal with a kid.
You're 18, it's the 70s.
Yeah. But I just thought, maybe tell somebody, shit.
Yeah.
The next day at the restaurant, Christina and her friend talks about reorganizing, adding more tables, this and that. And she's like, no, I don't want to change it at all. This was my mom's restaurant, and it will stay my mom's restaurant. Okay, I see the character journey you're about to go on. David shows up, and he's like, hey, checking to make sure everything's okay. Yesterday sucked. And they're like, yeah, no, I'm fine now. And her friend is like, I know you from somewhere. And he's like, yeah, he's the one who called our lasagna predictable. And he's like, that was me. Yep, I'm gonna go now. And her friend is like, wait, we're under renovation right now, but she can still cook for you. Make him another lasagna. And she's like, what the fuck? No. And David's like, well, I do like lasagna. She's like, all right, man. Lasagna's not a quick and easy dish, by the way.
Well,
that takes an hour.
It does, but it's a restaurant, right? So you already got it preloaded in the oven.
No, because they've been under renovation. There shouldn't be food there.
You're right. There shouldn't be food.
Yeah.
She shouldn't have any lasagna. Because, even if she had some preloaded for the next day, before the pipe burst, right? At that point, you just let the staff take it. Because
or you chuck it.
You just let the staff have it.
Yeah. So she makes just a whole ass lasagna. This one's really good, apparently. And she says the first time you came was about 2 weeks after my mom had just died, so I wasn't really at my best. And so he's like, I get that. That sucks. But this one's good. And they start talking, and David talks about how his passion is food. Both of theirs are, actually. But he, as a food writer, he's traveled all over the world, and he knows just a crazy amount. Up to and including the fact that lasagna is Greek.
Is it really?
Yeah.
If we Googled that, is that true?
Yep.
Oh.
What he wants to do is write a book about his travels with food all over the world. But the problem is, as a critic, he's super critical of his own work. So he can't write beyond 1,000 words. Boy, don't I know it.
To be honest, I would read that book.
I would too. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
So at the very end, he's just like, hey, do yourself a favor, do me a favor. Call Ruth. She's an amazing person. And she really wants to get to know you. So call she does. And she gets kind of the skinny on what happened. Apparently when Ruth found out she was pregnant, she tried to call her ex-husband at this point. But he had been deployed. Apparently he was in the army. And then she never tried again.
Well, she's right. Back then there was no internet.
Yeah.
And the only method of communication was letters.
Was letters and phone calls, but again, never tried again. This is the second time now. Noticing a pattern with you, Ruth. So Ruth invites her to the first night of Hanukkah to explore this side of her genealogy and all the overlapping traditions of Hanukkah. This part's fun.
Yeah, it's educational.
Yeah, because I like learning about other religions' festivals.
Yeah.
Especially when they're around Christmas time. Because I think that's neat.
Yeah.
So the first night of Hanukkah hits, and we meet some of the other family. There's the brother-in-law, who's an absolute fucking goober, who has like one line, it's terribly delivered, and he never speaks again.
Yeah, because it was a terrible delivery. But the point is, his plot device is that he's a real estate broker.
Yeah.
This is going to be important later.
Yes. So they light the first candle, and they sing the prayer that you sing.
I didn't know there was a prayer involved with
I believe on the first night there's 3.
What?
I believe. And then you do 2 on every other night.
What?
Yeah. So, like, stuff like that. Didn't know it. A lot of fun.
Got to hear it. It was great.
Yeah.
Learned that Hanukkah has hymns.
Yeah, that is basically what happened. This is the majority of the film. There's not really a plot line so much as it is a connection of scenes of her hanging out with a new family.
Learning about Hanukkah, which is great. Because I learned what Krugel was.
Yes. It sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah. And apparently it's some sort of noodle bake.
A noodle dish. It's a noodle casserole. It sounds good. So, to reciprocate, she invites all of them over to her house for the last night of Hanukkah. And these scenes where they're hanging out and, like, getting to know each other and learning about Hanukkah and learning about their families and who they are as people, these are really sweet scenes.
They are.
They don't really push a plot forward, but there's a lot of them, and I enjoyed pretty much every single one of them. Like I said, the movie survives on the chemistry between everybody, and it does it really well. So the next day, David shows up at the restaurant and is like, hey, I had an idea. I found out about this, and this, blah, 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 food stuff. Maybe you can add it to your menu. And Christina flips the fuck out.
That's a chef.
She's just like, no, nothing gets added. You just need to leave. And he's like, okay, hit a nerve. Gonna go. Thought last night was good. Guess I was wrong. And she's just like, wait, sorry. The menu's really important to me, and I just don't want it fucked with. And he's like, that's okay. I just wanted an excuse to come over here and see you. To be honest, I don't give a fuck about what I just said.
Well, it was fried artichokes. I care what he just said.
It does sound good.
Yeah. I've never had artichokes, so fry anything and I'll try it.
So she's like, to apologize for being such a cow, I have to go pick up a tree. Would you like to come with me to the tree farm where love is made?
We're contractually obligated to go to a tree farm every movie or Hallmark cuts our funding.
That is true. So they go fetch a tree, and they find this, like, I guess it's like a strip mall kind of place.
Yeah.
And so they're walking around, and he's like, "Oh, we need food. Follow me. I know the best dumplings in town." And they find this place that is a Chinese-French fusion booth. It's not even a restaurant. It's a booth.
Yeah.
What the fuck is Chinese-French fusion?
Bad. Okay, I paused and looked at their alleged menu.
Okay.
And, like, we had croquettes, egg foo young, and that's just, like, what is... Okay, there's gravy on potatoes, which I guess would be good, but egg foo young is made of eggs and stuff, and you don't put eggs and stuff in potatoes, and that's weird.
Actually, it doesn't sound too bad.
What was it? Some of it was it like coco van chow mein or something like that?
See, now we're getting bad.
It was scary, that menu. Like, give me 5 minutes with the controller and I will find that menu again.
It is upsetting, but apparently the dumplings are good.
What could be
French dumplings?
French dumplings? French cuisine is, like, okay, generally French cuisine is, one, pretentious as fuck.
Cool.
And two, like, French dumplings are just, like, fucking meat and potatoes and shit wrapped in, if anything, if it's not just pasta thrown in water, you know?
Right.
And then Chinese dumplings are steamed. These are two very different animals. Like, what?
I have no idea.
Did they just come up with this and be like, oh, this will be fun? And meanwhile, I'm over here like, are you high?
I think partially it was a joke. Like, I think it was a joke, but it was played straight.
Yeah.
I was like, Chinese-French fusion, that's weird. But they played it straight up. Like, at no point did anybody go, what the fuck?
I think she should have stopped and go, what the fuck is
Yeah,
that?
that's like...
I think she should have gestured wildly to the menu, just like...
Make it obvious, but it was not obvious. So they talk, because that's what you do in a Hallmark movie. And basically they're like, so do you cook at all, or do you just, like, judge other people's cooking? And he's like, mostly judge.
Mm-hmm.
But I make a good noodle koodle, which is fun to say. So he's like, why don't you come over to my house, and I will make you a koodle. And they're like, dope. So it's pretty obvious that these guys are dating. So Ruth brings him aside and is like, hey, I have to get her a gift for Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. And it's gotta be real good, because I am about 30 years late. So what do I do? And he's like, well, she's really interested in meeting her father. Anything you have about him would be great. And she's like, I will try that. So they go out, make noodle caboodle. And he's like, hey, cooking is boring. Follow me. And she's like, I guess. And so we have another scene of them hanging out at the Festival of Lights with just this giant menorah that's lit up. It's the fourth night of Hanukkah. And we just have, like, another nice little family scene.
And, you know, they stand together as a family and they sing, I assume, the prayer.
Mm-hmm,
and it's nice.
They go, the next night, they decorate this big-ass tree at her restaurant. They turn on the lights, and it shorts out the lights in the entire city. That's probably a coincidence, but...
It's kind of funny.
It's kind of funny.
Well, also, she had the biggest fucking tree I've ever seen outside the White House.
Yeah!
Like,
dope.
She had really high vaulted ceilings in her restaurant, and that tree was just high-fiving the ceiling.
It was high-fiving the vaults.
Yeah.
So they have, like, a candlelight dinner with food left in the restaurant. And it's kind of a cute scene. David talks about how he loves to travel, but in this love of traveling, he doesn't really have a home. Like, his parents are in California. He's in Cincinnati. Nope.
Where does
Cleveland. He's in Cleveland, but he's not really in Cleveland because he's about to leave for the Mediterranean.
But he's really from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, exactly. He becomes a history teacher.
Which was weirdly mimicking his history teacher.
It's adorable. He said he tried this 9-to-5 life that his dad did, and it just didn't agree with him, so he travels. And this upsets Christina. Because she's like, oh, so you're just cool with leaving a lot, huh? Neat. The next day, Christina and Ruth get together and make latkes and have a nice little mother-daughter time. Apparently, David has been working with somebody in Italy, and he got the phone number for her biological dad.
Because he's magic.
So he gives the number to Ruth and is like, hey, warn him this shit's coming. So warn, she does. And there's a very nice moment. We only see this guy twice. I call, and there's a nice, like, hey, you have a daughter. And it's implied he never got married or, like, had kids himself. Because he was just like, I remember you. You still sound as pretty as the day you were born. And, like, uh-oh.
I thought it was going to be, like, at this point, after she calls him, like, he was going to come back and they were going to get back together or something like that.
I thought so, too.
But they don't. Like, they don't even talk. She just drops the bomb and be like, okay, this is going to be real hard for me to say this. And I'm about to drop some shit on you. But we have a daughter.
I was going to say, 30 years ago, I was pregnant. Whoa.
So that was a conversation that I axed, but that was like at least an hour conversation of just...
Drop the bomb on that poor guy. On the second to last day of Hanukkah, David gets Christina a present, and it's her own menorah. And it's made in Italy, and it looks cool. It's silver, it's like metallic.
It looks like antlers. It's neat.
Yeah. So Christina is like, I want to learn the prayer. I want to learn it, and I want to be able to perform it with you on this the last day. So there's a kind of a funny scene trying to get, because apparently in Hebrew, like, there's phlegm in the words, and that changes their meaning.
To pronounce them correctly, apparently you need to say them with phlegm. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's kind of a cute little moment.
He does look at her and say, more phlegm.
Yeah. So during the next night, there's a gift exchange, and Christina gets everybody a gift to show how much she's, like, learned about them. It's all sports-related stuff, but it's still, it's kind of cute.
She got them floor seats to...
A Cavaliers game.
Basketball?
Yes.
Yay!
Way to go. So yeah, I got floor seats to a Cavs game. They got a signed baseball. They got jerseys. It's cute.
Apparently she knows the general manager. Dope.
Yeah, there you go, hey? And they gave her signed photos of all the fun times they've had, or framed photos, excuse me. Very nice silver frames. And it's like, look, and it's basically her first family photo of large family.
Yes.
And then they also give her a framed photo of her father, her biological father, and his phone number. That's heavy.
I mean, we've only known her for literally 8 days.
Yeah.
Right? So...
What else do you give her?
What else do you get? We know she likes cooking, and she doesn't know her dad. And clearly she's got all the cooking supplies she needs, right?
Yeah.
So it's either a gift card, or...
Yeah, or either you're going to Sparrow's, or... So the next day, David comes by the restaurant, and he's like, hey, I'm throwing out all the pretenses. I'm asking you on a date. Let's go.
Yeah, like, he's not, like, hedging his bets or anything. He's like, to be clear, I'm asking you on a date.
Yeah. I am once again asking you on a date. And she's like, no. And he's like, what do you mean no? What?
And I was like, what do you mean no? We only got 15 minutes left in this film.
Yeah, and so she's like, hey, you're leaving, and I can't deal with losing somebody I love again. So if you're going to leave, I can't become attached to you. And he's like, that makes sense. So, understandable. Have a nice day. And leaves without much of a fuss.
Yeah.
Then we have 2 scenes back to back that are the exact same thing. David talks to mom and just like, I guess we're breaking up. And she's like, don't break up. And he's like, you're right. And then Christina talks to her friend and she's like, I guess we're breaking up. And she's like, don't break up. And she's like, you're right.
Well, she does bring up an interesting point. Her friend brings up an interesting point when she asks, "How long is he gonna be gone?" And she goes, and she just sort of shrugs and goes, "IDK."
Yeah.
And it's just like, so for all you know, he could be gone for like a week and be back.
Yeah. Oh, shit, didn't think of that.
Just like, you could just think this is an extended vacation. You don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
So we solve this real fast, because it's the next scene. David shows up at her house for the, not final day of Hanukkah, for the Christmas party.
It's Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve. And he's like, hey, fuck it. Gonna do my book from Cleveland. Mm-hmm. So I have a house, or I'm getting a house. Mm-hmm. I'm staying in Cleveland. Yay.
I mean, he's going to the Mediterranean, but he'll be back in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Because he's got work to do, so.
Yeah. Yeah, he does actually have critic work to do in the Mediterranean. Mm-hmm. But he'll be back, and he's like, I have a house here. I'm staying. Yay.
Yay!
Because the only place I want to be is wherever you are.
He's known her for 8 days.
Yeah, not that long, but all right. I'll take it. So we have our happy Hanukkah kiss. And he does say, she says, as incredibly complicated holidays go, this one is turning out really well. So Christmas Eve, the day of the big dinner, they go to the restaurant, and she calls her mom, and she's like, hey, I'm gonna call Dad. I need someone to be here. And she's like, understandable. I will stand right here. If you need me, let me know. She calls, the dad's like, hey. And she's like, hey. And she's like, this is going well. Do you want to come to Italy?
Because we only got 10 minutes left in the film.
Yes, I do. That really is like, it's like, hi, Christina. I've been waiting for your call. I've been waiting to call you. Great. Do you want to come to Italy?
I feel like a lot of that call got left on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, we had 90 minutes and we had to...
Like, there was probably just, like, a lot of, hey, I want to get to know you better as a general matter.
Yeah.
And this call's expensive. Do you want to just come to Italy?
I don't have international calling. So...
You'd be amazed. Italy phone carriers. Complete ripoff. Come
on. So they... the restaurant reopens for the first time since the flood. Not even a flood, since the pipe broke. Mm-hmm. And all of her sous chefs and chefs are just like, hey, can't help but notice there's a lot of Jews out there. It sounds worse than it is. But it's just like, hey, do you have like a whole other family now? And she's like, yeah, I have a sister, I have a brother, I have a new mom, that's my mom. This is happening, and there's that. And they're like, who's that guy? Is he a brother? No, that's David. He is a food critic, and he's also my lover. Cool.
Didn't he call our lasagna passable? He did.
He did indeed. And she's like, by the way, I'm changing the menu, and I want to add more stuff to add to explore both sides of my DNA. And they're just like, this is all a lot to throw at us in the middle of a dinner rush, but okay.
How dare you change the menu mid-rush?
Yeah. Are you changing it right now? Because if so, I will stab you.
Yeah, that's a real threat from chefs. Because if you change the menu mid-dinner,
yeah,
they get stabby.
They get stabby. Christina gets the family that she so desperately needed. David realizes that he has found a place to stay and doesn't have to keep moving. Ruth gets over the guilt of giving up her daughter when she was too young. Dave and Christina end up together. We get the happy Hanukkah lead kiss. Everyone's happy. Curtain down. So, structural-wise, this movie doesn't have one. There's very little plot. I can sum up the plot in about 3 scenes. Mm-hmm. So a lot of this movie is filler.
Yeah, but it's enjoyable filler. That is the thing. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it is fluff. This is a very fluffy film. I love fluff.
But sometimes, damn it, you need that, and especially around the holidays. As long as it's only 1 or 2... I'm okay. If it's the next 10, I'm going to throw some shit.
Throwing lamps.
I'm going to get some throwing lamps. So we have... There's this week and there's next week, and that's it. We're done.
Really?
Yes. So... I guess I can put up with 8 more movies like this if I have to. Mm-hmm. But I rather enjoyed this movie despite almost despite myself. Especially coming off the last movie, which I didn't much care for. So I maybe the Hanukkah angle, like, just kind of spiced it up just enough. It was fun to kind of get around. Like I said, the romance is the weakest part of this film.
Honestly, it could go without.
If they got rid of it entirely, I honestly think it might be a little bit stronger.
But Hallmark demands it.
But the Hallmark gods demand it. By the way, we never find out how the mom dies or Ruth's husband dies.
Hallmark syndrome.
Hallmark syndrome. That's just...
Well, it's irrelevant, right? They're dead.
I know, but throw us a line, man. Damn.
We do need to know what the fuck happened with her and Roger there. You know?
That's never explained. Also, like I said, the Feast of Seven Fishes, that was it.
Apparently her fucking, Christmas Eve rush was the family she invited.
Well, that was on purpose. We knew that.
No, but she always said there was a Christmas Eve rush anyway. That's why she needed it open by Christmas Eve.
She threw a Christmas Eve party.
Oh.
And she invited her regulars. But, yeah, it was a Christmas Eve dinner, which...
That's a very confusing dinner.
Yes, it is. So what would you give it?
7.
A 7? I was going to go as high as 8.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Just because...
The Christmas tree or holiday ornaments or whatever you want to call it, to people ratio was a good ratio.
It was a good ratio. Everything was very well decorated. Also, I like the Hanukkah colors. Blue and white, they're very nice.
It's nice. I didn't know menorahs came in styles. This is cool.
Oh, also, I forgot to mention, Christina gives Ruth a fancy-ass dreidel. Mm-hmm. It's really cool. It's blue, like stone.
Yeah.
And it's got like a gold around the point. Mm-hmm. It looks really cool, and I kind of want it.
Yeah. Apparently, the words on a dreidel are supposed to come up to mean, like, there was a miracle. Yeah. Or something like that. A miracle happened here. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if that's true, but I choose to believe it.
It is nice. And I do know that Hanukkah itself was based on a miracle. Much like Christmas is.
Okay, so like... The oil lasting for 8 days, that's the miracle.
Yes.
But why did they need the oil to last 8 days?
Because they were in a position where they needed to survive.
Oh.
And so the oil lasting 8 days, it was like, and the lamp kept them warm.
Aww. Okay.
So, yeah, that's why Hanukkah is the festival of lights. Mm-hmm. Because light is survival. Mm-hmm. Many Jewish holidays... and forgive me if I'm getting this wrong. Obviously, I'm not Jewish, and I don't know much about it. But from my understanding, is most Jewish holidays function on 3 principles. Mm-hmm. They tried to kill us. Mm-hmm. We survived. Let's eat.
Yes, they call it noshing.
Yeah. So, because people have ragged on the Jewish culture for so long.
For pretty much as long as there's been a Jewish culture.
Every holiday seems to be, they tried to keep us down. We're still alive, bitches.
Remember
Seder
that we suffered.
Yeah, remember that we suffered. So that seems to be it. But yeah, I think I'm gonna give it an 8.
Okay.
Are you gonna give it stick with 7?
I feel mean for giving it a 7.
You don't have to feel mean.
I'm gonna think about it here for a second. Like, the set design was nice. They had the world's, like, fakest snowman, though.
That's true. Like, they built a snowman, and I swear to God, it is out of styrofoam.
It must be. It's perfectly round.
Yeah.
It doesn't look... It's just white, and it's, like, smooth, and I swear to Christ, this thing is made of, like, paper mache or styrofoam or something. Because it was shot in July. Like...
Yeah.
And this is... outdoor scenes, so they were just like, well, how are we supposed to make a snowman that doesn't melt? And props to you, prop department, who didn't think, maybe we'll just keep building a snowman.
Yeah, we'll just go from here.
You know, like, it's fun, it's whimsical. I learned some stuff about Hanukkah.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoyed it. So 7 or 8 seems right. I'm gonna say 7.5.
7.5. So we'll top out at 7.75.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So that sounds good to me. But yeah, so this was a fun little movie to start off this week. This our second last week. We have 7 more movies to do after this one. So it's the final countdown. Bidadoo-doo. Bidadoo-doo-doo. Tomorrow, I actually don't know what we have, because at this point, when I copied the list of movies, this was in like September, and it changed wildly since then. Like, on my notes, it tells me the upcoming movie is A Timeless Christmas, which we did months ago. So it's Christmas. It's a holiday. Nope. It's a movies and mysteries movie. I can tell you that. But we have that to do.
We will find out.
We will find out tomorrow, as we always do. If you're still sticking by us, God bless you. You brave soldiers, you.
Watch Boy Meets World.
Watch Boy Meets World. It's going to be so weird if this podcast continues, because we're going to go for 4 episodes a week to like 1 a month. We're going on Brightwall numbers. So it's going to be a strange thing.
I forgot to make my regularly scheduled joke during this thing. Because he's Corey, and he's dating a girl.
Right.
And for me not to gesture wildly and go, that's not Topanga.
I know, it's off-putting, isn't it?
Yeah.
He shouldn't be with anybody who's not Danielle Fishel.
I know. They should come as a combo pack. Like, what's those 2 voice actors that always come as a combo pack?
Troy Baker and Laura Bailey.
Yeah, those 2 come as a combo pack.
Yeah.
Why can't we get Corey and Topanga as a combo pack?
That would be nice.
They clearly need work.
Can't you see I want to do more than pour cold milk on your head?
She is so funny.
She is. I like her. But yeah, so if you want to find us on the internet, I am on Twitter at EmptySquare, EmptySquare. Cutes.
I'm at Aquadia_. Come listen to my thoughts about Boy Meets World and Girl Meets World.
It's pretty fun. I like it.
Yeah.
If you have some money burning a hole in your pocket and you're like, I need to throw this at somebody really, really hard, might I suggest our Patreon? Patreon.com/EmptySquare. Empty Square is spelled exactly the same way as before. You get cool stuff for literally any amount of money, up to and including me reading you a bedtime story.
Want to know about the actual story of the Nutcracker? Not like the ballet or their 17 terrible movies, but like the actual story of the Nutcracker. Do you know what was written by? What else did he write?
Alexander Dumas. He wrote the Three Stooges. Three Musketeers. That would be a very strange episode of the Three Stooges.
I was thinking he wrote like 3 Blind Mice or something.
Yeah.
Like, also, did you know the Mouse King is a fucking eldritch abomination?
Hate it.
Come find out how.
Come find out with us. Patreon.com/EmptySquare. But if you have no money to send to your favorite internet creators, that's okay. All you gotta do is subscribe, like the video, comment on it, whatever you want, show up to our live streams, weird shit like that. All of that helps us out fighting the evil that is the YouTube algorithm.
Yes.
Which I still don't understand.
Nobody does.
I've been doing this for 10 years. Nope. 13 years. And I still don't get it.
Well, that's because they change the algorithm every 2 weeks.
I don't like it. So there's that. Anything you do helps us out amazingly. But I think that's it from me. Cutes, you got anything else?
Go watch Boy Meets World and watch this movie, I guess.
Yeah, should they watch the thing?
Yeah.
This is a good movie to have on the background. When you're out doing stuff, you know, you're baking or whatever, throw on the Hallmark Channel. This one's a good one.
Yeah. Apparently Hanukah is, cool.
Apparently Hanukah is cool.
That's
all we have to say here at Binging with Badness. Hanukah is cool.
You guys don't, the Hanukah Society doesn't put out a lot of Hanukkah movies like they do with Christmas movies. Like, we get 1,700 Christmas movies every year.
There are so many versions of A Christmas Carol, it's ridiculous.
And there's only, 2 good ones.
Yeah.
So, I wonder if you guys are happy that there's a Hanukkah movie.
Do you want more? Let us know in the comments.
Are there good Hanukkah movies?
Yeah, is there a Hanukkah movie we're missing? Let us know because I want to watch it.
Yeah. What is an accurate depiction of what Hanukkah's actually like?
Yeah, let us know. I'm so interested in this. Because I like learning about other cultures. But yeah, so that's it for us. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Watch the movie. Bye-bye. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.
Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.